Dad got us started in the mid-90s when he first started planting grapes. Before that, Grandpa made wine in the basement, and that was kind of where Dad got the romantic end of it from, remembering his father making the wine in the basement, and that's why we went with the Dago Red brand, and we branded things with Grandpa's picture and that logo. The style of wines we make now is my style, and I've been lucky enough to have winemakers work for me who were able to understand what I wanted and get me there. We had in the early years some really big, bold Pinots, and that was my style. I wanted a Pinot that was big and bold and in your face. We grow Pinot Noir grapes up on the estate. We planted the Pinot grapes in 1992. Prior to that, Dad had Chardonnay grapes up there on the estate, but the wind was just too hard on them. I have 3 distinct sections of vineyard up there. The first section is pretty much sand. The middle section has got some limestone, and the last section is rocks. And that Pinot grows best in those rocks. We're probably best known for our Pinot Noir. We've been, like I said, growing Pinot grapes since 1992 and making Pinot Noir under our own label since 1999. We do participate with Zhaw-Ve. They have the Taste of Zhaw-Ve every year. They do a half a dozen events throughout the year that are wine specific, and we participate in those. We also belong to a small association called the San Ynez Valley Wine Country Association. And there are 15 or 16 wineries in that association, and we do 2 passports a year, summer pass, winter pass. And our other big event is the Fantasy in February, which is President's Day weekend.
Well, thanks for letting me come in today.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much. You guys have quite the location too, with being in the middle of Zhaw-Ve.
It's a good spot.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It worked out good for us. We used to be over in Buellton, and we didn't get a lot of walk-in traffic over there. And one of the changes I made when I came up here full-time was to find us a better location for the walk-in trade.
I've only been to Zhaw-Ve a few times, and I was blown away because normally I just head down to Santa Barbara, and someone said, no, you should get off on the Zhaw-Ve road and come down this downtown. It's beautiful. So let's talk a little bit maybe about your winemaking philosophy. Have you carried that on from generation to generation?
Michael, who's the winemaker now, is really easy to work with, and he and I tasted yesterday some of the new upcoming things, and we just went over, let's tweak that a little bit, and they understand what I want, and they're able to give it to me.
Especially driving on that 246 there, and you notice all the trees. The trees are all leaning inland, and I was driving for a while. I saw the first one, and I was kind of confused about it. Then someone finally explained it to me. No, it's the wind. They're all like that.
We get it.
Anything for the upcoming Memorial Day?
We kind of leave the big holidays alone because they draw in enough of people as it is. Most of the events and things that we do, I mean, the summer pass will be good Memorial Day weekend, but most of the events that we do are taking a shot at the off weekends when there's less people up here. So we try to give them something to bring them in. We're real good at stressing the grapes out up on top of the hill up there. Like I said, the wind blows. We get early morning coastal fog almost every morning, and then it gets warm for a couple hours and cools down really quick.
What's the history of this area? Since you guys started making wine, but were you here before that?
No, we weren't. Sanford and some of those guys have been around since Babcock, since the early 70s, but wine really didn't start to take off in this area until, I don't know, maybe 86 or 88, and then more and more people figured out that this was going to be a good wine region. When Dad bought the property up here in 1981, they were touting this area here as the next Malibu. It was going to be all horse property. And we have a fair amount of horse property up here, but I think the wineries have pretty much taken over at this point.
I was reading somewhere that it's either you're a horse breeder or you're growing grapes. That's fun. Well, it sounds like 86 kind of coincides with Paso's development, just kind of the whole coastal line.
Yes.
Would you say that came just right in all at the same time, or was this?
Not exactly sure who was first or what, but it's all in about that time range.
Okay.
And every time I turn around now, there's somebody else growing grapes or making wine or something, and I can't even keep track anymore.
One thing I did want to get your take on that I've been doing some research into, because a lot of times people will talk about there's Pinot Noirs from Santa Barbara County, and then there's Pinot Noirs from Russian River, and then they talk about Oregon as those three big different Pinots.
Don't forget about our Santa Rita Hills.
And the Santa Rita Hills. Well, Santa Barbara County, I'm including it. So with those Pinots, when do you get your fall winters? When's your first winter? Because one problem they have up in Sonoma and Russian River is that they got to make sure they pick it because the rains are coming in, autumn rains.
Well, rains coming here hasn't been a problem for the last 5 years. So,
well, how's the drought affected?
The drought has really been hard on us, and we're finally seeing the vineyards being in good shape again. For the last 5 years, they've been really, really beat, and the yields are way off. I'm still getting good quality fruit, I'm just not getting very much of it.
Making sure you're able to stress it enough, but at the same time, shoot, now I'm starting to stress
The
it.
weather's
Maybe
helping me
it's-
stress it. We do water on a drip system
Yeah.
up there, so we make sure that we get it enough water.
Well, shoot, I'm excited to get up there and maybe grab a handful of it and see what you're talking about. But thank you for letting us come in. You have a beautiful tasting room. I'm going to get a few more shots of it, but
Okay.
appreciate it a whole bunch.
All right,
Thank you.
no problem.
Thanks.
Thank you.